Hey guys, it's Mark Child here, and it's my favorite time of the month where I get to take one of your challenge cards and try to build a deck around it that will make it to Mythic. So I got the challenge card that I'm going to do up on the screen. I also have the list of challenge cards here on my second monitor. As you see, I have 28 of them with Obeka splitter of seconds right here. And I'm going to try to fit in one or two or three of these other challenge cards in as we go. So I'm just keep that in mind as we go through deck building. Um, but I wanted to, since I believe a lot of new deck builders will be joining the community, and maybe some of you have been around the community for a long time. I wanted to go a little slower through the deck building process just to make sure we kind of cover the how my thoughts at least link things together, and maybe you'll get some hints on how to build the deck from that. So the challenge card is Obeka, Splitter of Seconds. Uh, she's a 4 mana, blue, red, black. Whenever Obeka deals combat damage to a player, you get that many additional upkeep steps after this phase. So just looking right at the mana value and how the card's going to perform. So I have to do combat damage. So it'd be nice to get Obeka to do combat damage when she gets in. So I got to try to get haste. Red is very good at giving haste out. Blue and black are more control card colors. Blue has probably some of the best creature protection in the game, and then black has some of the best removal. Uh, we don't have any green, so the ramp is going to be rough. So doing kind of a one-turn combo might be a little harder here. We can try to stack treasures. Red has access to treasure tokens, and then we should have plenty of card draw if need be with the rest of the colors. How I always start off though is I try to look at tribal synergies. Um, Ogres doesn't have any tribal synergies, and I don't believe Warlocks do either. One thing is Warlocks are outlaws, so there is some outlaw synergy. I could use Hellspur Posse um, to give haste because she would have haste, being that Warlock, if you read in the upper left hand corner, are outlaws. But we'll start by looking at the inner workings of the card. So I need to stack upkeeps. So cards that do things on upkeep is what we're going to look for in our colors and colorless. And I kind of know a lot of what these cards do and what exists. But if you're new, you should probably read through some of these. But in general, there's mill, survey. This would let just this permanent transform on the upkeep, so not that. This would be a card draw. This is on upkeep. You would win the game if you had a bunch of other rooms, but you don't really need to rush forward for central elevator win con. Um, Extravagant replication might be good. It is expensive, and as I said earlier, we don't have access to green, so I think we're going to play more of an aggro style. So I'm just not going to put it in right now. But something to keep in mind, it does duplicate permanents. It's a good secondary win condition if you do get into ties. So just something to keep in mind. This is card draw. If we did 1/1 counters, green and white are normally our 1/1 counter putter honors, so not really going that route. Oh, here you could stack clue tokens and would put 1/1 counters on something, so possibly. Some of these are other people's upkeeps. Here's card draw for at the end of turn, so that might be useful. Start with some of those. Extra card draw. It does hurt us when that happens, but worth looking into. This would be good, but again, 6 lands. It's pretty late. We don't tab the growth because we're not in green. Maybe I'm beating a dead horse a little too much, but Here we got growth, which is what we're looking for in red. That happens at the upkeep. So at beginning of my upkeep, I would create a treasure tokens, and my opponent gets treasure tokens, so equal ramp. But we'd get a bunch of treasure tokens, and then Generous Plunderer would deal damage when it attacks, equal to the number of artifacts the opponent controls. So you got some aggro, got some growth. That's a good one to have. We'll keep going. Card draw, weird card draw. Maybe do some dinosaur exchange. Steal cards, kind of fun. More card draw and opponent damage. And then this, I guess when I saw a card, this is what I had in mind. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get 2 1/1 colorless slivers and tokens. This also has the ability to give out haste and gives double strike. So Becca would hit twice. So if this is out there and somehow we make Obeka a sliver, she would have haste and would deal 2 sets of damage. So you get twice as many. So you get her attack's at 2 right now. So if she had 2, it'd be 4. I'd get 4 upkeep. So I'd get 8 slivers on the spot. So that's kind of a good combo. I think that's what we should work off of. So I need to make Obeka a sliver. And I know for a fact, I know the list better than you guys, but Oko is on the list. So Oko has the ability to make creatures slivers. So I'll take 2 legendary creatures in general. If you're running support legendaries, I'd normally run 2. You can go up to 3 if they're cheap. But the legendary rule exists, so it'll feel like a dead card in your hand, and just in the pace of the current standard, having dead draws is game losing. So you really got to limit the number of those. So I mean, in the long run, I'll probably cut back on Obeka. She's a challenge card, but being a legendary creature and fairly expensive, having more than 2 in your hand at a time, it's going to just be dead. And it's even dead if they just ignore Obeka, which you make it so that they can't. But yeah, so we now have the ability to give Obeka haste. I want more treasure creation. And if I look back at, again, challenge list, Magda, the Hoardmaster, does treasure creation. So possibly had some of this in mind when I started building this deck, because once again, I do know the list fairly well. But we have another growth. So whenever I commit a crime, I'll create a tap treasure token. Oko can commit crimes by making target creature -2/-0. So I have a reliable way every turn to commit a crime. And then I should probably just add the removal now. So rule of thumb, you should always have 6 single target removal spells. Cheaper instance, Shoot the Sheriff's really good. You saw I put in Feed the Swarm, that is sorcery. Bitter Triumph is instant. This try to flex your coverage. So like even if I added Shoot the Sheriff, where it can't target a non-outlaw, but like Bitter Triumph covers creature and planeswalker, and Feed the Swarm covers creature and enchantment. So I don't have artifact removal, so the deck will be weak to really strong artifacts. But also, if they stack too many artifacts, Generous Plunderer will punish them quickly. So kind of have coverage against all 3 things now. We are taking a lot of damage, though. This pay 3 life. This is permanence mana value, and then self-pinging for 1. So we'll have to get more growth as we're going. But we got 3 challenge cards in, which I think is good. So now let's try to flesh out the rest of the deck. The other thing I'd normally add is a board wipe, which I think the best one right now is Deadly Cover-Up. So just when I'm starting a deck, I would go try to get 6 single target, 2 board wipes. And then if you're going control, you'll add more board wipe. If you're going more aggro, which this deck might go, get rid of the board wipe and go into whatever you need. This is just generally how I start. All right, well, that's a good start. So we need to try to get out Thrumming Hive Pool sooner. It has affinity for slivers, so we need to add slivers. The best, well, first off, I don't believe there are any slivers, and there aren't. So changelings are slivers. There's some good ones out here. Trying to keep my creatures at 2 drops. Just for curving out, so because I got a lot of 3. So that actually wouldn't be bad. The Stalactite Dagger, which I'll add. This is going to give us another way to make Obeka a sliver, because I can equip it to Obeka, and then should be a sliver, and I wouldn't just have to rely on Oko. So, that fits in well with just how the deck's created. Some of these are good. Flash is good just to make sure that it survives. And then I think this combo is well known to people who've been around, but the Furdock Core adds the mana and is a sliver. So really it's 2 on our way to this. And now that I have the Furdock Core and it's fitting in our deck, rather than run self-damaging card draw. Oh, what's it called? Unholy Annex. Just one of the core black cards currently. Basically, if you control a demon, the opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. So I'm doing a lot of self-damage, especially when I was running Phyrexian Arena. This is going to help survive against aggro against us, and makes these cards less punishing, and will allow our lands later to be less punishing. So pretty standard black combo for card draw. So that's good. Really have everything we need for a deck here. One thing would be nice to get Obeka a second way to get haste. And as I said before, I run 6 removal, but I just find that running 6 of something, that 10% line. So you have 10% of each attribute you need. So even if the second one isn't as strong as the first one, you have another ability to do it. So I would like to get haste on Obeka. We are running equipment now. I think a good one is Blacksmith's Talent. I'm just going to throw 2 for the 6. So, Thrumming Hive Pool is still the core for haste. This is just a nice additional way to do it. Got a lot of 2 drops. Just to round out in the beginning, Maybe something like that. Like I said, Obeka is core, but she is expensive. So important to get her to not be a dead draw in her hand. So I'm just going to lower her value. We're at 63. I think we're going to run aggro. Let's just cut deadly cover up, maybe a crawler. And you're at 60. So this is a good starting point. You got just kind of covering everything, how this deck's going to play. Basically, I'm going to try to generate treasures, try to get down slivers, try to get down slivers again, get Thrumming Hive Pool out, be able to get Obeka out with a way. I don't know why it's doing this. A way to give haste. And then I'll have a bunch of slithers down. Obeka can also do ping with Scrawling Crawler. Or make a bunch of treasure tokens. He also goes to the face. I mean, this is good for now, but the more I look at this, so I'd like to have a second win con. I don't know why things aren't coming up. And seeing that I can duplicate ping damage. Oh no, that's loses life. This deals damage. Unsure. But anyway, we need a second win con just if they stifle Thrumming Hive Pool, say they had their deadly cover up and chose the Thrumming Hive Pool and somehow got one in our graveyard. It kind of kills the whole deck. Obviously, you just have straight face damage and still have double strike. So maybe that's enough. Just something to keep in mind as we go forward. So the last part we got to do is fix the lands. If you're pretty new, dual colors is probably better. We are at a state here in Magic where I feel you can run 3 colored lands pretty easily. All right, so we'll look at lands. So I always start with Starting Town, 2 of them. You don't want to hurt yourself late, and it does enter tapped after the 3rd one, but it is probably the best curve rounding card in the game. We got a 1-drop, so that's also very good. So you don't want to scuff early, so that works well. And then we'll go into the dual lands. I'll cover that. So basically, you want lands that don't enter tapped. If you're playing more control style, you can do things that turn into creatures, and maybe some of these life gain things aren't that bad for you. But basically, you don't want lands to come in tapped. We aren't running a lot of blue, so actually, if you look at this land, it's blue unless I have the swamp. Well, I'm really running a red-black deck with just a splash of blue to get Obeka down, really, or Oko. So I don't actually want to go too many of these. The pain lands are a better way to go. So these won't enter tapped unless if I pay life. So we're gonna be sacking life and hope that our early aggression kind of keeps people off our life pool, that they'll constantly be having to deal with our stuff. So, and we got some life gain now, but these are more what you want because I want the black and not the blue. Throw in one of those just because. Anyway, so yeah, so we'll keep that in mind. So like, if I was running more blue than black, or an equal number, I would hammer the Gloom Lakes. But because I need the black first, pretty much every time, I'm not going to run too many of these. The other things that are worth entering are the new lands, which I believe they probably exist in other colors. I don't know if they're what colors they're for off the top of my head. But these tapped unless 2 or more other lands. Generally, you can have 2 lands, so it's not a big deal. But same thing, I'll probably run like 3 of these. Here, I actually don't care because it'll just be a red, and then if I have a mountain, it'll be a blue. So like I'll actually max out on these verges because the red is what I need and not the blue, and the blue's the splash. So this is much more useful than the Gloom Lake. Here you want a couple, don't want to overdo it. And then we'll look at red black, which is really where I want most of my dual colors to come from. If I had more rares, again, I'd probably do all of these. But I'm just going to take what I have for now since I'm creating the deck. Otherwise, that's fine. So this looks okay. I actually do want to have a basic of each color because of land destruction. Because if they destroy a red land, I want to be able to fill it in with a red land if possible. So maybe I will cut back and just it's really wanting swamps. Normally I trust that curve pretty good, but I really need mountain and island. So this is probably fine. It'd be nice to have one more mountain. Yeah, so this is a good starting deck. And we'll go from there. Hopefully this was helpful to learn how to craft a deck. And we kind of went a little slower, took all of our time. But I think we got a good deck coming out of here. Got 3 challenge cards in Magda, Oko, and Obeka. Kind of the idea is give Obeka haste through either Blacksmith's Talent or Thrumming Hive Pool by making her a sliver through either Oka, giving her a weapon with Blacksmith's Talent, or making her a sliver through Blacksmith's Talent and the Stalactite Dagger. She'll then duplicate pings and draws. We'll stay alive with Unholy Annex. And we got growth creatures here with some combo into letting my opponent have artifacts and punishing them for it. So, yeah, I'll see you in a few weeks when things kick off. Marvel will be around then. Don't know how that's going to affect meta. Don't know how much that's going to affect power creep, but I think this deck is good enough to start. Probably a lower end Mythic deck, just from what looking at these cards, but never know how the meta changes, and we'll make changes ourselves as things go on. So until next time, keep brewing, and I look forward to challenges in the future.